You're very much welcome to Wakesho TV, the voice of freedom. It's another wonderful day. We have Wakesho TV, and I'm glad that you're there following us, watching us. This day, we are so much privileged. My name is Karuhanga Charles, your host tonight, and we'll be sharing different issues concerning what is going on, what is escalating in the world. Today, we are having Israel-Palestine conflict. And in the development of these issues, we're going to be talking about other things in relation to what is going on. You know, war is war, and many people are affected and, disturbed by what is going on. I have never liked war, and I know you don't also like war. War has never been good at all. It includes loss of lives, loss of property, and many other things. Disruption of the movement of people, goods, and services. Tonight, to understand better of these events, we have a guest tonight, and this is none other than Mr. Lwanga Rodini. He is married and is a graduate of ICT from Makerere University and Ndejje University. He holds a master's degree in security from Cavendish University, and he is working with the Deputy Speaker of Parliament of Uganda. Also, he heads the Union of ICT in Uganda, and he's going to share with us, and we are going to see as we discuss what is developing in these areas of conflict. We're going to get a better picture of what is going on. He's going to introduce himself to us, and welcome to Wakesho TV, the voice of freedom. Karibu sana.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I once again greet you, our dear viewers. Thank you for following us. I'm Lwanga Rodini again, a security analyst, ICT engineer. So that is me before you today.
You're very much welcome. Being that you are a security analyst, it comes in a time when the world is has been caught unawares. Something happened Saturday night, and loss of lives.
Yes, true.
Civilian casualties,
yes.
A lot of bloodshed, and the news is not very good.
Yes.
But what is your take when you see what is happening in Israel-Palestine conflict? Did it begin Saturday, or it has been brewing over time and it came to explode on Saturday night?
Now, to start with, this conflict has been there for over 100 years. It has been there for over 100 years. Because if at all we can recall, we can go back in 1917, during the First World War. That's when this whole saga started from. It started from the anti-Semitism towards the Jewish. Israel as a nation started in 14th May 1948. That's when it was declared as a nation. But previously it was a Jewish population moving from country to another country, from country to another country. Now, what caused all this thing? I was seeing Al Jazeera yesterday, but the way they bring up their stories, it's as if they have a side.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, but now this saga started in the First World War. I remember there was a declaration called Balfour from the British. Now the British took over the Palestine in 1919 from the Ottomans. Then after that, British gave in this declaration that it wants to put the Jewish people
in their own state.
Yes. Now, there we saw this Balfour declaration. And now this declaration was again pushed by the League of Nations in 1922. Now, after that, now the League of Nations, for them, they said that for us, we are here to implement what the Balfour
agreement said.
Yes. Now after that, in the next year, then the Arab countries gathered, opposing that what? That declaration. After that, we received a lot of chaos, a lot of challenges there in that Middle East part. Then seeing the Jewish, remember the Jewish were scattered.
Yeah, all over the world.
All over the world, Russia, UK, but majorly they were in Central Europe, Russia, and US. So after that declaration of Biafra, they started again migrating back to Palestine.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, after that migration, they came, but they never had a nation called Israel.
Yeah.
They were just a Jewish movement.
They were just a Jewish movement,
Yes.
only they were not yet declared by the United Nations. But when we follow the history, how Israel began to be Israel, yes, they were, but as a result of their disobedience to God, and God had said he will scatter them, but when they come back to him, he will restore them.
Yes.
Then when you see now the
1948.
1948.
Yes.
Yeah, when they declared the nation and then they came back to their own state.
Now, biblically, you see, there is a place there. The Jewish, they call it the Temple Mountain.
Yeah.
But again, the Muslim community, they call it Al-Aqsa. Now, that area, I think it is the main cause of all these things that we are seeing. Now, Al-Aqsa is, the Muslims believe that it is the third holiest place of theirs, apart from Medina and Mecca.
Yes.
Now, they come, they worship from that mosque, and they go. Now, the agreements that are there, it allows only Muslims to worship from the temple. It doesn't allow Jews to worship from the temple. But that mosque has a wall, they call it a Western wall, where the Christian gather and they worship. Now, that Al-Qasa has brought problems. Why? The Christians, they believe that the first temple of King Solomon was built there.
Yeah, they do not only believe
Yes.
that was the fact, it was there. Yeah.
And again, they also believe that there is also another holy temple that was built there 600 years before the AD. Now, that temple was actually destroyed by the Ottomans. Yes, because for them they never believed in this way of believing Jesus God. So they destroyed it completely. Now, that chaos between Islam and Christianity. So that area has caused a lot of trouble between the two nations, between the two movements. Because right now, Palestine is not believed to be independent. It is not. Because they refused that chance in 1974. Now, we've been seeing a lot of things there coming. For example, in 1967, we had what we call the Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
Now, the Yom Kippur, the three states of Islam, that is Egypt, Syria, and Jordan, they attacked Israel. A surprise attack. The way we saw this one.
Yeah.
A surprise attack. But remember, they attacked. For them, they were opposing, because after the declaration of that Balfour, UN entered that situation, and they divided Palestine into three divisions. The Jewish community, we had the West Bank,
yes,
and also we had the Jerusalem as a city.
Yes.
Now the Jerusalem was left under control of the international forces. So it was neutral, the Jerusalem. Now the West Bank was placed under the Palestinians. But remember, the Palestinians opposed that division. So now the Jews, for them, they proceeded with the division, whatever. Now, where the problem came in now, in 1967, those three nations, the Egypt, we have Jordan and Syria, they attacked Israel. A surprise attack, the way you saw this one. Now, what happened was actually that was a 3 weeks war. 3 weeks, but Israel defeated them. Remember, they had already distributed all these divisions.
Yeah.
Now, what the Israelites did, they again took over this, these
The
divided
divisions.
nations. That is the West Bank and also this Gaza Strip, which is causing problem now. But not forgetting, during the division, the Gaza Strip was put under the Egypt. Now, the West Bank was put under Jordan. In the declaration of UN, the resolution 181, those 3 states were put under control of certain nations, apart from the Jewish community. Now, after this war, the Yom Kippur War, Israel took over these these divisions. We call it the expansion policy of Israel. So then after that, now, after that war, they proceeded. Then again, we received another blackmail. That was 1972, where we call it the Black September. It was in Germany, Olympics. The Israel team was in their, they were in their hotel. So the terrorists attacked them and they killed 11 of them. So now the prime minister, who was Golda Meir, the Iron Lady, commanded a retaliation. And what we call Mossad for Israel, they started killing Muslims. So now, after that, remember, we also had what we call the coming back of the Yasser Arafat in 1993. There, we call it the Oslo Accords, which were in Norway, but they were spearheaded by the U.S. government, President Bill Clinton. So in there, we are seeing conflicts after conflict after conflicts. But now, the main agenda here is about the mosque and also the expansion policy of Israel.
By the way, from that Temple Mount, 3 religions, 3 monotheistic religions, they have their holy place there. The Muslims, the Jews, and Christians.
Of course. Now, I talked about the Western Wall, what we call the Temple Mount. That one is for Christians. Now, this Al-Aqsa Mosque is for Muslims. Actually, they even believe that even the compound is holy. Yes. Even the compound is holy to them. And like I said, it is the 3rd holiest. Now, all this conflict is generating from 100 years back. But now we can see the main cause now. Actually, we've been seeing provocations from different areas, from both sides, the Israel and also the Palestine. Now the creation of Hamas, that is causing these things. Hamas was created by a certain man called Muhammad. He was a refugee in the refugee camp. Then he created a group that is going to be opposing the Israelites in their policy of expanding territories. Now the creation of Hamas was generated by the Muslim Brotherhood countries to fight the Israel.
To counter.
Yes, to counter them.
to oppose them,
exactly,
to restrain them.
Exactly. Now, after that, actually, there are many wings. We have the Hezbollah, we have the Islamic Jihad, because in this operation that took place on Saturday, Hezbollah was part of it, and also the Hamas spearheaded it, they headed it.
Yeah.
Then the Islamic Jihad was also part of it.
It was a joint operation.
It was a joint operation. Now, after that, Hamas started doing all the activities, the terror activities on Israel, secretly, and those that are seen. For example, through those activities, Israel decided to build a fence, a wall in the West Bank that separates it with the what? With the Hamas. Now, to take you back, when President Arafat died in 24,
Arafat.
Yes, in 2004, he was replaced by the Abbas Mohamud. Abbas Mohamud was seen in the negotiations in the US. So after that, but this one was just an interim president, Abbas. Then in 2005, they elected a leader. Now this leader was among the Hamas group. Even up to now, Hamas is leading Palestine, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip. So that's why there is always that conflict between Israel and Hamas, and also the PLO, the Palestine Liberation Organization. Yes.
Well, we are seeing the escalation of this violence. It is an age-long conflict. And Israel has been fighting wars from day one. In fact, it is fighting for its existence. But in all this conflict, we see buildings being reduced to ashes. We see humanitarian losses. People are dying. A lot of chaos is happening. Bloodshed is happening. And if, for example, Hamas wants to take control of some other places, like they want to regain the holy place and other interests, of course, and also being a joint effort through which the enemies of Israel are behind in order to destroy Israel, because many nations have been, cursing Israel and they want it off the map. But it has been failing all along. Yeah, we see there is no sign of stopping. Thousands upon thousands of people are dead, have been killed, and brutality, bloodshed, bombings. Where do we see this stopping in the near end?
I don't see it stopping, because Israel, as it has its military, the IDF, they have their doctrines. First of all, the first one is called Dahia. Dahia, for them, they believe that when any civilian deals with the opposite side, they will crush you, whether what, or you are a kid civilian. Now, they have another doctrine called the disproportionate. Now, that one, it focuses on the force that they use. When you kill one Israel, they will kill 1,000 of the enemies. Yes. Actually, that is a form of now putting fear in the people that are planning to do. Yes. Now, with those doctrines, you cannot just attack Israel and you think you will go the way you want.
You cannot just attack Israel.
Of course.
As Hamas has supporters, also Israel has supporters.
Of course.
We have seen already in this conflict, America has pledged to support and has actually fulfilled the first promise, and other nations are behind Israel. And of course, some other countries, though they have not shown actual support, but of course they are there.
They are there.
Iran is there. Saudi Arabia is just yet to decide, but you know where it falls, and some other countries. And when we see all this one, I remember what Prime Minister said, that they are going to do to Palestine,
Crash.
to Hamas, something which will be remembered for generations.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Now, of course, once you joke with Israel, Israel is like, in that place of Middle East, Israel is the lion there.
Yeah, it's a superpower.
A superpower there. Now, once you joke with them, attack them, knowing that the feedback is going to be rod to me. Because according to their doctrines, always the feedback is a harsh to the opposite. For example, I can give you an example of an attack of 73.
Yes.
1973, where Golda Meir was the premier, the prime minister. They attacked it, but their retaliation was massive. Was massive to an extent of even it pushed the Egyptian to start like talking to them that please,
that is so much.
It is enough. It is enough. To an extent of even signing an agreement, a peace agreement between those two nations.
When we talk about the massiveness of the response by Israel, it means people are dying.
Of course.
People are dying. And when we consider the international humanitarian law of conflict or international laws of war, someone may not understand how a war may have a law. There are laws governing these wars, because of part of it is civilians must be protected, and also property of the civilians like hospitals, schools, churches, and including mosques. But we are seeing in this conflict, all those laws are violated. Where does it leave Israel in a bid, though it was confronted by the enemy? Because for it is saying it is defending itself from the enemies for the attack. And also, it is very true that there was brutality. Yeah, butchering, beheading. You know, it was just. In fact, people are saying that it may lead to a third world war. But for me, I don't support war at all, because there is a lot of bloodshed, loss of lives, and disruption of whatever has been built over time. Therefore, what can we do from now on? Because all the things are there. There is that conflict already. There is a lot of history concerning these two nations or these two parties and the support of each side. Because it is going to escalate.
Of course.
Every side has supporters. And Africa also will be dragged to take sides.
Of course.
And when you take side, you know what it means. Where does this leave us as Africa?
Now, you've talked about the World War. I do remember in the Second World War, what sparked the Second World War was an attack that was done on the Pearl Harbor. Yes. Now, this one can also be a spark.
A spark,
a trigger. Because according to where I am seeing it, it is going to take time. It is going to take resources. Yes. But what we can do, like the countries, the nations in the Middle East, they have to accept that Israel is there to stay. Yes. It is there to stay. They have to put that in their heads. Second, there is what we call the two-state solutions. The two-state solution means that you identify Palestine as a sovereign state. Give it its independence. Period. those things will really help us to avoid these conflicts.
Yeah.
What? Yes.
Because Israel is now preparing a ground attack. It has mobilized the reserve force. Everything is ready, tanks are ready in order to do a ground attack. And remember, the Gaza Strip is heavily populated.
Of course.
What do you expect there?
Bloodshed. Bloodshed. Because when you look at the Gaza Strip, it is almost surrounded by Israel.
Yeah.
So they disconnected power, everything, the food supply.
Including the only outlet which was taking them to Egypt,
Yes.
was also...
It was also cut off. So now, the survival of these people inside the Gaza Strip is on the mercy of the...
Israel.
Of course. Now, in here, we can see, we are yet to see the UN coming in to resolve this issue. But I don't think that they will manage it. Because the Israel, they want to repay their enemy. But now the question here, they have their force, their agency called Mossad.
Yes.
How did they really fail to identify this attack on time? Mossad is one of the most
highly sophisticated agencies in the world.
Of course. Actually, it is the second one. From CIA.
Yeah.
Mossad is the next there. But they failed. Now, to me, I saw that this thing, all the planning, they never used electronics. It was a one-to-one message. One-to-one message.
By Palestine and Hamas.
Of course. And their allies, the Iran.
In fact, Iran, I was seeing the president was congratulating them of doing it on their own. But of course, they cannot do it on their own. But it was very well coordinated.
It was very, very, very well coordinated.
But they're going to regret it.
Of course, they have already started because now the lay people are now dying. Leave alone the military groups. For them, they can take off.
Yes.
But now the kids, the women, the sick people are now vanishing.
And they cannot give it as an excuse because that's what exactly they did in the other side.
Indeed. They cannot.
Now issue is, when, for example, how would we define this victory after Israel takes over Gaza? How can we define this victory?
Israel is going to take Gaza again because I remember in 1967 he took it and gave it to Jordan to control it.
Yes.
Now, what is going to happen now? It is going to expand its territories again. And this time, I don't think that they will never withdraw that land again.
Yeah, of course, they cannot win over the war and then leave the place vacant.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Now, their expansion policy is going to expand again towards that gas. The only solution that we do have is the United Nations to intervene at this early stage. But again, the UN cannot intervene when the Jews are burying their people.
Yeah, exactly.
They cannot accept that.
Now also, the US is saying, no, this was fair. It is fair that you retaliate. Now, when the UN comes, it is torn between two sides now.
Of course.
What can we do and what may we not do? Where does this leave the world?
Of course, there is a message. There is a message of terrorism that we must always protect our nations from terrorists. That is one. Two, there is also another message because people were saying that Mossad is among the big agencies Now, see what has happened. They are burying their friends, their relatives.
Including soldiers?
Yes.
Being beheaded?
They attacked a police station fully equipped with all the gadgets that they do need. But they put it down into ashes. Now, this one gives us a lesson that we cannot be independent when we have such groups, the military groups around us. We cannot. And now, this one has given Israel another chance of now expanding its policy. It is now going to put aside all the UN resolutions. Because now the excuse is there. These people, they do attack us. Now you want us to do what? We have to put them down. And the only way is now to take over the what? The territory.
In fact, the Prime Minister said, you requested for hell, we are going to deliver it to you. Yeah, you requested for it. You prepared for it. Now wait for it.
Now the funny thing with the Israel leadership, all the premiers, they have been soldiers.
Yeah.
From the first one, Ben Gurion. And that one was smart. Then we went to this lady, the Iron Lady. Golda Meir. That one was extremely good. Moreover, a woman. So when it comes to their leaders, they know what to do. But now the problem now this government has, the government of Israel, it is full of extremists.
Yeah.
Why? Netanyahu was part of the team that came, I think, last year in power, but through alliance. It wasn't a standalone win. So they used those alliances. Now, these parties, the other parties, are full of extremists. Now they are telling him, you haven't done what is needed to protect Israel.
Because there is a critic of Netanyahu who are saying that he should use the nuclear.
Of course.
And remember, they have never accepted that they have nuclears. Where does that put Israel?
No, they do have them, but as you know, those people are really guarded by US. They have them. And actually that can be also an alternative. If at all things go the way they don't see them going,
yes,
they will do that thing. They will put Gaza Strip down.
Yeah, I think there's a statement which is like that they're going to put it down.
Of course.
I'm seeing danger brewing, and this is not good news for anyone, including Africans, including everyone, wherever you are, because we are created by God for a purpose. You who is watching us, watching Wakesho TV, the Voice of Freedom, really we feel bad. We feel with those who are feeling for humanity, but it is only God who can restore dignity. But we play a part. Like we have to partner with God in restoring order by doing what we are supposed to do. What would be your concluding message? As you know, these things are still evolving. Now we are seeing now the war of Ukraine and Russia. And we have got a shift now. The other one is not being covered now much. We are now on Palestine and Israel. What is your message?
Actually, we were even about to experience that thing in Africa during the Sudan.
Yeah.
The Sudan conflict, because it was a religion and a tribal conflict. But the leaders in East Africa, they controlled it.
Yeah.
And South Sudan was given a state. Now, if we are to go on that level of harmonizing, first of all, we must, UN has to declare Palestine as a nation.
Yes.
But again, the Palestinians, they don't need it. For them, what they want, they don't want to see
Israel.
in existence.
Where do we
Now,
have hope? Where do we have hope in all the things as they are now?
the only hope that we do have is among those two sides that are fighting. And also, if at all we can call God to intervene. If not that, there is nothing that can be done among those two states.
We could say two sides which are fighting, because now, as of now,
Yes,
we see Israel bombarding everything. Now,
yes.
it is maybe you're saying upon Israel when it has, if it has failed, justify it.
Of course.
But also there has to be intervention of other powers, international powers, and of course the help of God. We need to pray for Israel. We need to pray for the peace of the world. Though true peace, total peace comes from God, but you have a part to play in all what's going on. We are praying that this one may not escalate, as people are saying. It may not escalate to other nations, because when you take side, you're inviting war to your own nation.
True.
Therefore, our viewers, those who are following Wakesho TV, the voice of freedom, we are bringing these things out that you may see and know what to do and how to do it, because God created you in His image, and He created you with potential of becoming so great.
Yes.
Therefore, how we use what resources God has given us matters a lot. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate your following and liking, commenting, and sharing. We really trust that this conflict come an end. We don't celebrate the escalation of this conflict at all. And we are praying for the people in the Middle East to come to a peace agreement, such that this one is done away with. And with that, we come to a close of today's sharing, today's program. Wish you all the best. We love you so much. Wakesho TV, the voice of freedom.